we're done. Now we gotta load up the equipment. It's been a long day. Heading back to the house. You know what it is.
When I'm mobbing through the street, it's a must I keep that all black knot beneath the seat. That's in case you fuck boys try to run up on the king. Young Divide, we're going in. I'm putting on for my people locked in the pen. Lay you flat, head spinning, something like a rim. Put yourself on my dick, I put my nuts on your chin. I got them preaching to the reverend. Got these hoes yelling, girl, I wish I never met him. I caught 5 and flip it, turned it into 11. Cause I done worked more blocks than Star 67. Forever stay at full throttle. Rock a show, turn up, then go home with a model. Armando, and I see the fuck boys watching. But like they cut my brakes, Young Divide will never stopping. What up? My Reeboks, they classics. If she got a fat booty, then I'm gon' stab it. And I got the work in my hand trying to move it. Finger on the trigger like a bus stop.
Okay, right there was the scene. Hat, t-shirt, Reeboks are classics.
What we call a G-ride, that be on the G side. Get a wet, dive up in it, what I call a G-slide. I done been crazy, go and ask the judge. When he tried me, motherfucker didn't budge. But I don't give a fuck. Riding round bumping nips, 30 in the clip, shoot that bitch till it's empty. Now I'm back in the booth, spitting straight crack. Never false, all I ever do is spit facts. You want it, come get it, go until they feel me. Matter of fact, I'ma keep on going till they kill me. With the quickness, when it's time to put in work, leave no witness. I be back in work in my mama's kitchen, but I did before my mama starts bitching. I dump on fools with the quickness. When it's time to put in work, leave no witness. I be back in work in my mama's kitchen, but I did before my mama starts bitching.
That's a great lead. Connect him right away.
The bag, the big bag. The big bag. Featured sneaker boutique, #1. When I go to Vegas, I hit the win. Featured sneaker boutique. That's where I'm going to get threaded up.
To this win partnership really did put us on that stage. I think, and you know, you can correct me if I'm wrong or just elaborate on this, but you know, finding these little pockets, right, of people who are looking for what we're providing, but not saturated or sometimes not even any distribution in those places, like a Calabasas, like a La Jolla, right? I mean, New York, LA, Miami, like that's obvious.
Yeah.
Right?
Go to Soho, whatever it is, I follow you.
Yeah, I think another way to look at it too is, you know, one thing that I think that we're pretty adamant about is we want every feature to be at least 95% feature, right? And when I say 95%, what happens is you always run into brand conflict. And so, you know, there's some Japanese brands that have been working with the same 2 LA accounts for 25 years and they've just shut down. They work with those 2 guys, they're happy, very relationship driven. And so when I say 95%, we always understand that we're not going to get every brand that we sell in every location. But we do want it to be 95%, similar. And what that means, and where I'm going with that is, when you sell emerging designer like Tom Brown and Sakai, and you sell some luxury like Givenchy and Miri, the challenge you run into is not every market can support.
Talking about big name clothing design
product. And so if you think about Calabasas, right?
Right.
Who
owns property there? The Kardashians do, don't they? 2 of them?
Country, whatever you want to call it.
Probably 3 or 4.
You think about
2 of them that own there, they all.
Scottsdale, extremely affluent market, 8 million people in the Phoenix metro area. There's a couple other sneaker shops. There's one apparel account, but there's no one that kind of has it all under one roof like us. And if you think about La Jolla, it's the most affluent market in San Diego County. Again, you have a lot of people that live in La Jolla that drive into LA. And right now, a lot of them drive into LA to shop. And so, really, our expectation isn't that people don't go to Melrose and they don't go to La Brea. But our expectation is like, not everyone wants to drive an hour every time they want to shop. So, you got a cool store in your backyard in Calabasas, you're going to pop in. You might shop there 3 out of 5 times.
I do want to say one thing I noticed right there was, he said them. This gentleman is referring to his customers as them. This podcast is an opportunity for a businessman to consider the fact that they could possibly engage with the audience and make that other person their friend, make that other person their buddy. Look out and say, you my customer, you are right here with me. You are riding with me. Because it's just like Trump. Whenever you use the word they, people look at a separation. They. It automatically sets in your mind a them or us. I'm just saying, you have to be careful in interviews of the words that you pick, because it could be a they that makes you lose half of the people that are watching in your audience that would either stay riding with that video or they flick to the next one.
Times during Christmas, make the big trip to Rodeo and do your thing, but the hope is, and the intent is that we're kind of at a choke point where people can still come in and do most of their shopping with us and we can service them, and then also still, go do their big shopping as needed. So that's where.
Wow.
Kind of backtrack a little bit. So building that partnership.
I also wanted to say right there, he's saying come in and service them. So I need to go to that wind shop and check it out. Would you like to go with me, Michaela? Let's go down there when we get back into town and check it out, because what I'm thinking right now is dressing room. I'm thinking fitting people. I'm thinking like when you used to go into the Bernini in Caesar Palace, you find a pair of slacks, they walked you to the back, they had a tailor right there on site, tailoring up your stuff, making sure everything fit, everything was perfect, and then they'd send you out the door. But your suit bill for a Canali suit was $2,900. I mean, you were spending $3,000 on just a suit. Now, I'm sure there's some of their customers that are spending the same amount in one day when they walk in their store. But the average customer doesn't spend $3,000. You've got to make a lot of sales to generate that $3,000. You get a couple VIPs that come in and dump some money. But the average sale that just walks in, probably $300. In that location, maybe $500. But, I mean, the rents are high. So you got to have a high price if you're going to balance out with the rent. And this is a quality clothing line. They're not buying some trashy stuff from China for $2 and printing it in the back and throwing it out on the shelf. I mean, this is a real clothing line. And it's patented. It's ready to go. If these guys are behind it, it's going the right direction. That's what I'd like to say. Hang loose, guys. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. Let's keep watching more. Hang out with me a little bit more.
With the win, like how does that come to fruition? So it's one thing to want to go there, but also for them to want to use it.
It's the craziest story, actually. We had a lot of friends that were pretty high up.
That's so good, that announcer, man. He's always smiling. He's laughing. He's smiling the whole show.
Shout to a bunch of those guys. And,
every time he talks, he's laughing.
Everyone's happy with what's happening. It's a very cohesive team. They're all working towards one goal, which is providing the best luxury experience in the city. And that works with nightlife and restaurants and gaming and every aspect. And so we kept asking our friends, and they're like, look, as Vegas generally does, they only want big outside brands, right? They want
off-brand. Italian, Jay Sean, these guys.
yeah, totally. Yeah, Ron Nicoli and Jared Garcia, you know. And so, you know, what happens is you know, the conversations we were having, they only want guys from outside. So they're going to go for the best New York sneaker concept or Boston, right? You know, there's 10 or 12 guys in our space that are really kind of bigger at this point. And so, you know, we kind of written it off. And at the time, Scottsdale has a pretty big mall, and they were remodeling and doing a luxury week. And so they invited us out, flew us out to Linus and Dinus with a couple other, you know, people that they were trying to get to sign leases. So we go on this trip, and, you know, we're having some drinks, and we meet a gentleman named Charlie, who at the time was the head of retail for a company called Richemont. And Richemont owns, I think, a Cartier, you know, it's one of the luxury houses, very whatever, right? And so
all the way out.
We're just kind of bullshitting with this guy Charlie. We kind of clicked, and, you know, there's a bunch of other people in the group, but the three of us started talking.
Thank you.
And, you know, he was just asking, he's like, well, why don't you guys go to
Big
the
thanks to my behind the scenes crew.
Counting,
There,
you know,
here we go, guys.
counting the
Today
people.
we're doing another episode, as you can see, YouTube. Today's episode is a company out of Las Vegas that started small, but they've been growing big. And they're slowly getting ready to take off.
You talk about all the time.
So, feature clothing line, and also feature shoe boutique, which is both combined into one. And I'd like to personally see it go custom. You know, I'd like to see a tailor in the back taking measurements and trimming people up. I mean, doing sweats for girls who want a low cut, they trim it up. Right there. I mean, that's what people used to love about coming to Vegas, was the way that you got taken care of. It wasn't just the fact that you came out to Vegas and chilled for the weekend, you took your wife out to a good dinner, you enjoyed the entertainment, you went to a beautiful by the way, flower, I almost said. White Lotus. Man, it's been a while. White Lotus, baby. I heard you bring it up. Quit playing games, man. You reach out one day, call your boy. Anyway, back to the episode, man. We'll get back to that later. Can you hit it? We're ready to roll. Urban Visionaries.
We're at the tip of the iceberg, even locally.
That's a good.
There's still people that
Urban
Visionaries.
Visionaries,
This place. This is
man.
amazing.
Entrepreneurs.
So anyway, so we met with him. And
City
took
boys.
it to the higher ups, and, you know,
Hustlers
later,
with
there
two
were,
S's.
you know, basically got the approval, and then the next step was really figuring out how we were going to get $1.3 million to build that. That's all you needed.
Right.
I remember having that conversation with EJ and our other partners, and I was like,
The Kia, what'd you say?
I was like, look, they're like, well, we need the money. It's like, we're going to figure it out. Like, this is just the opportunity of opportunities.
Yes.
You have to figure it out, whether we, you know, rob, steal, and cheat, dude, we're going to get this done. We'll pay everyone back.
That's the
or
good thing
whatever.
about that. I'd like to
And so
say
that's
real
kinda-
quick, when you have a good reputation of every business that you've done being successful, after a while, if you do need to go out and reach out and get 3 or 4 investors and do what you call diversifying your funds, don't hesitate to diversify. Grab those other funds out there, put it into the basket, and push that business forward. At the same time, you might as well get the AI Charles Schwab running your stock market program while you're in the back room, you know what I mean? But enough of me. Let's keep it rolling.
You know, it's kind of the story. It was just, you know, kind of dumb luck that we got.
That's an interesting story. What's the odds of that?
How long have you guys been in that partnership?
2018.
2018.
Yeah.
Pandemic hits, and then.
Wow.
So the pandemic hit actually 3 months after we opened our Calabasas store. So we literally opened a store in November, and then I think in March, everything shut down. And I don't know if you guys recall, I mean, Vegas was pining to get open and got open as soon as they can. California was the polar opposite, just with that lockdowns in LA County, and, you know, so, you know, we reopened for a month and shut down for 4 months, then reopened for 2 months, then shut down again. I mean, it was a pretty wild ride, and trying to keep staff, and, you know, it's pretty brutal.
But with that shift though during the pandemic, you know, a lot of things.
This
more things
smiling
happened
guy
online,
watching
you know,
you.
obviously,
Smile again.
With you being a retail store, which is easily translatable online in a lot of circumstances, like, you see a high percentage of your sales being in store versus online, or is it still pushing one or the other?
But it's really by design. So we launched online in 2014.
Okay, so that's a little later.
Yeah, which is a little bit late.
Well, so we opened in 2010,
I think we knew that we were going to be online at some point, right? But in 2014 is when we got serious about it.
Okay.
And when
you
you
have like the inventory and
Well, because you have to, I mean, if you think about online, you go to these smaller boutiques that are using images from every different brand, and it just doesn't look good. And so for us, it was like, you got to hire a photographer, you got to figure out how to shoot on white backdrop, you got to figure out all these different things. It takes money and it takes time, and you know, I think 2014.
Wow, EJ.
Yeah.
What a giving man. Look how humble this man is right here.
Decided internally that
Wow.
at the end of the day, brick and mortar is very important
Great
to us.
businessman.
But just call it what it is. We all shop online more than brick and mortar, especially if you get comfortable with the brand. If you know your size 9 Nike, you know it's consistent. Who really wants to drive to a store or deal with that, especially if you're busy and you know you have jobs and families. And so we made the decision to really push online a couple years later. And so we built a pretty significant in-house digital marketing team. There's about 10 or 12 people that just focus on digital for us. You know, everything from SEO to paid ads, we do everything in-house. So we don't outsource anything other than some web development.
Is that fan back on?
And so, you know, when the pandemic hit, we were actually built a lot differently than a lot of the boutiques that they didn't have an online presence, or they had online stores. But really, if you think about online versus brick and mortar, online is a business. It's its own business, and you have to treat it like a business. So a lot of my friends in this industry are hyper-focused on brick and mortar. And online's here, they make some money and they sell some product, but they don't treat it as a separate BDU where they're like, I gotta staff it, I gotta hire somebody that does content and somebody that's gonna be in charge of my email campaigns. And so we did that pretty early on, and during the pandemic, it really paid off because we had, you know, strong digital presence by that point. And then on top of that, we had a digital team that was still, you know, working actively during those times. So I think everyone exploded from an online perspective during the pandemic, but I think that we saw, you know, probably significantly more than what most boutiques in our space did.
I was gonna ask, do you treat it independently when it comes to like inventory management, or do you get the inventory from your boutique stores and then post that online?
We don't. So we're omni-channel. So essentially, we do a buy that gets divvied out to the stores. We have a pretty big warehouse here, and you know that's obviously where orders get picked first, and then from there, there's a pecking order for the stores.
Got it.
And so there's definitely, you know, some boutiques and businesses that treat everything differently. You know, make sure that inventory. I've always been a firm believer that sales is sales.
Yeah, sell it. Yeah.
You know,
They share inventory across it.
and so you know, it's always made the most sense for us.
I was curious about the box, shoe releases and all that. People buying everything and you can't get the inventory. Like, how you guys compete with that? Even though that I feel like you guys are a bigger brand, right? But how do you compete with the bots? People that try to.
How do we prevent the bots
How do you prevent it
from attacking?
Correct.
To be totally honest, it's pretty tough. A lot of sneaker stores in our space have switched to raffle systems. You can control it better through a raffle system because the customer's not checking out. You end up checking out for them. It's randomized. The problem with that is that those same bots can enter your raffle 2 million times.
That's
you know,
true.
so
It's very difficult. Yeah.
you know, there's other things like you can tell if a product goes up and within 2.4 seconds, every unit's eaten up, and the email address, the name is all the same other than one letter at the end. You can kind of tell, and we'll actively go in and sweep those orders and cancel them.
Okay.
You know,
Okay. Good stuff. Okay.
everyone does the best they can, but to be totally honest, every time Shopify or whatever comes out with some sort of bot protection, they beat it. It's just like anything. It's just like chip credit cards. They're gonna find a way to beat that too. You know, like it's just as smart as the guys trying to stop them. There's guys just as smart trying to figure out how to hack the system, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Who's actually designing? Because I love what you guys are wearing right now. You got the feature shirt, you got the brand with the little knights. Who's actually designing and coming out with the feature brand?
So I guess it's kind of 2 prongs. So we've got some in-house graphic designers that work on a lot of our graphics programs, headwear, and then we've got like a 3-person team that works on the fashion industry, which we call more cut and sew pieces, so button-up sweaters, things of that nature. So we've got a decent sized team that kind of focuses on those 2 product prongs.
And how do you see like the comparison? Like, do you see your personal branding like getting to elevating as you continue to get more involved in the spaces?
We were just talking about that today because we've gotten to that point now. We're producing so much product. I mean, this is gonna sound self-serving, but I mean, the stuff that we're producing is so good, and it can sit next to anything else. And I think that people are starting to buy in, right, and understand that. Okay, it's not just graphic tees. Like I can complete a whole outfit. You know, I can make an entire wardrobe out of something, some pieces that features.
I'm seeing the suits, man. Those jumpsuits, man.
Oh, the tracksuit.
Yeah, man. I like that.
That's actually what we were talking about. Because we were a little early on the tracksuit.
Those suits are sick, man. I'm not just saying it because you got to sit there. That's good.
Look at the table, all glossy, nice, clean.
You know, most stores, the easiest thing to produce is graphic t-shirts and wear
all matching chairs, beautiful studio, podcast studios, A+.
It's you know, tertiary extra business, and the reality, especially in Vegas or the markets we're in, I think people want to go to a store and get a piece of something that says they went there, right? Like I went to that store, especially when you talk about what we do. There's tons of states that don't have any store like ours, right? So you have kids that are actively shopping on different websites or these boutiques that are located in more major markets.
Where you at right there in the video, bring Mark.
It's important for them to go and be a part of it, right? The challenge with that is when you're known for just making.
At this point, what I want to do is I want to point out that I think this video is awesome. I think that anybody building a business or a clothing line, especially my boy Ricky right now, that we're promoting Trench Made for. Look at this clothing line, Ricky. Check these guys out. Follow them. Emulate the kind of business that they created. They started small. They went into Chinatown. Now they're in the Win. I mean, they're slowly building up, you see. And as they're doing that, they're probably eventually, as businessmen, gonna have to, in my opinion, is maybe shed off some of the older locations, because there'll become a time where they no longer need the store in Chinatown. And that's the beautiful thing about commercial leasing and real estate, is you're not always tied to that. So when you construct your original lease in real estate, and you go to talk to an agent, you get a commercial broker, and you go down, you find a location, and that's where you want to start your business at. Just consider this one option, right? Leave yourself open. Do a lease that's a couple of years, and then you have an option to renew. But at that option, maybe a 10% per year increase, which you just become what we call in real estate a holdover tenant. So once you're a holdover tenant, you've held over, and now you're there. And that's the goal of doing it that way and structuring your lease that way, is so that you can also say, well, I've got the lease as a vanilla shell, but I'm gonna have to spend $20,000 in tenant improvements. Well, guess what? Ask that landlord that's gonna lease you the property to credit you back those tenant improvements. Now all of a sudden, you've got $20,000 in credits. Your first 5 months might be free, unless you're at the Win, it's your first month, and you've already spent $20,000 for a lease over there. So I mean, these young men building a company like this out of Las Vegas, and I give it to my boys. I'm a Reno boy originally, born and raised, Sparks, East Street, Nevada. That's where my family's from. My grandmother was Guadalupe, 922 East Street. We were always down at the church. We were always down there praying and doing our Sunday school, and they had me doing catechism and everything else. So Immaculate Conception is where I did my first communion at, and where I lied about that. I never finished my first communion, but I did all my other stuff up to that point, right? So, but to be real with you, because I know my cousins and other family members are going to call me out on that one there. Sparks, Nevada, MacArthur Boulevard, Pyramid Way, McCarran, the McCarran Loop, the 395, all beautiful highways that we ran and rolled on. And I'm from that area. When this boy came to Reno, these boys, I'm talking about EJ right now, when he came to Reno, he really, really changed the community for a lot of people. They were able to actually spread their wings, invent, and allow themselves to release and go out to a cool club that was safe. There wasn't any mishaps or parties that they were throwing. And they were really, really cool. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys that are watching today out there were at those parties, but if you were, maybe you could comment, maybe you could throw something down in the bar about what these guys did in the other city that they influenced already, which was Reno Sparks area. So I'm just shouting out right now as a Reno boy, when you came to my town, you're always my boy, Eej. I got your back. It's a great business you're doing. I'd like you guys to look right here if you can. This is the YouTube link. All you have to do right here is take this YouTube link, paste it in the bar at the top on your search engine, and this YouTube link right here will get you to the full video. But we're gonna fast forward a little bit. We're gonna take off to the end before we do our outro here. We're gonna go ahead and speed it up. We're not all the way done with it, so stick around if you got a minute. Jump into about that spot we were talking about where exactly that's perfect.
Like I said, yeah, yeah, because it's important, right? You know, I have so much love for, you know, I'm not a Raider fan.
Money, you have money, you love your money, you gave your friend, you're helping your friend out. Come on.
I already have a team because I grew up here without a team, right? So my allegiance is still there, but I am fully supportive of
mine too, brother.
The Raiders. I'll be supportive of the A's, even though I'm a Yankee fan. Yeah. But it's just, the things that are happening to this city are just, it's just becoming such a great city. Mm-hmm. And I want people to think about
it's a great city.
As well.
Great
but from
city.
An authentic place. Like, we want to be involved. Not just, it's not lip service, like, you know, something good to put on your resume. It's like, this is our town.
And I'm glad you said it. We're aligned on that stuff. And I mean, I'll just tell you guys right off the bat, you got a home with us because that's why Chris and I developed the Circle of Wife, is because we wanted to give people like you guys a platform to share, but we want to get more involved in relationships. Sure. I mean, as you know, behind the scenes, you know how it is. You just make a phone call and there's 3 different people you might be able to know.
Sure.
But we do need to have you guys come back on and update us every. No, I'm serious. Have you guys updated every year? You know what you guys are doing. Sure. Because especially being locals, they need to be able to hear that. We need to support each other. That's how we're doing.
100%.
But I appreciate you guys. What's your social handles? I know the feature handles.
AJ and EJ again.
You guys want to share your personal? You guys have personal?
I can give it to you, but I don't have any content on there.
Favorite feature?
Just feature.
That must have been before he posted this video. Now he's got content on there.
Surprising story, but there are actually brokers that deal with websites, handles, all that stuff. So if you want it, you can get it. It just depends on how much you pay for it. But as crazy as that is, you know, this is kind of a wild story. I think when we reached out, so we were featurelview.com, which for all intents and purposes is a big no-no. You should never have your city or anything in your web address, right? Like,
don't start about this.
Again, we didn't know what we didn't know. So we're like, fuck. So when you think about feature as a name, it is the worst thing you can get, dude. It's like super ambiguous. It's a huge word. You Google it, all this shit comes up. Like, there's, you know, like you're not getting that handle. So we were Feature LV for years, and I think we reached out at one point, and I wanted $250,000 or $500,000 for the site.
It's on the UFC.
And our CMO Brian has actually been in the digital space for a long time. Like, he's a gangster when it comes to digital, and he was like, I got a guy, dude, that's what he does. And I was like, wait, what do you mean that's what he does? He's like, AJ, it's literally this guy's job would be to reach out to that guy. This people just buy domains and they just broker the deal. And it's like, dude, it took like, you know,
all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, I'm married to this gang, that's who I made my wife. Said I die alone, I told that bitch she probably right. One thing that's for sure, not a stranger to this life. Got a safe that's full of Franklins and a shoulder full of stripes. I don't know a nigga like myself. I say self-made, meaning I design myself. County jail fade, you can pull my foul yourself. Spot raid, swallow rocks, I'm getting high myself. Nah, damn right I like the life I built. I'm from West Side 60, shit I might got killed. Standing so tall, they think I might got stills. Legendary baller like Mike, like Wilt. 96 Impala, thug life on wheels. Up against the wall, squabble at Fox Hills. Like a motherfucking boss, ask me how I feel. Successful street nigga touching them first meals. All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, Hustle paid the price, want a slice. Got to roll the dice, that's why all my life I've been grinding all my life, yeah. All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price, want a slice. Got to roll the dice, that's why all my life I've been grinding all my life, look. I got everything I said I was gonna get on my kid. In addition to that fact, I went legit. I'm the shit now according to the way that I'm positioned. In this biz, it look like I'm just gonna keep on getting rich. Know that Westside RSCs is us. LAPD on my dick, I'ma squeeze and bust. If a rap nigga diss, switch cheese and bust. All this rap money, nigga, look, I need too much. Money, loyalty, and love, in the dream we trust. You'll be switching up the players on your team too much. Tiny copy, that's my low, Young Supreme, what's up? And we travel around the world getting cream or what? Ain't you get off on whoever hustle seem to rush? Las Vegas strip pop, yeah, you creamed them punks. After all that looking tough, all he seen was stunts. 50 Cent and Mayweather flee the scene with us. True story. All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why all my life I've been grinding all my life, look. All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why all my life I've been grinding all my life, look.
How you guys doing, man? Just took a second to break it down to you real quick. I'm just gonna go over a few things. If you wonder why I'm out here in Death Valley, it's 128 degrees. You see me wearing these beanies, right? They light up, pretty fresh. You see me also wearing these gloves right here to our skit. Just want you to know we're selling these. They are $15 a set. They light up, they're pretty cool. You got the glove, you got the hat. We'll be selling them for the community of Amargosa over here at Guadalupe's Energy Fuel and Farms. These things are tight. They got different settings on them. You can really get it going. There's all different settings, as you can see. Perfect little setup for Halloween. Get the kids out as they're trick-or-treating. They just got a little safety net on them, which is some stuff that's lit up. Out at nighttime when it's real dark, these are kind of tight. Come by and check us out. Guadalupe's Energy Fuel and Farms. You already know what it is. Don't forget, behind me are the solar panels. These are the solar panels that we're selling over here at Guadalupe's Energy Fuel and Farms. We're doing this and we're selling this promotion as a protest to the Nye County solar moratorium that they've placed. These solar panels right now are 48 volts. They're pulling over 350 watts. And our sun out here, I almost get 400 watts a panel. And I'm running 10 of them right now. I can disconnect from Valley Electric. I can run one of my air conditioner units. I can run anything off of just my solar out here in Death Valley. So I just wanted you to know, come on down, check us out. Guadalupe's Energy Fuel and Farms. We're blowing these panels out right now. I was gonna say breaking them out. We are breaking them out. They're out here on the showroom ready to go. But we're blowing them out. And let me tell you what the price is. $200. Go try and find one of these at Harbor Freight, 48 volts for $200. I want you to take a second and just look at the size of this panel. So I'm gonna stand right next to it right here. You see what I'm saying? I'm 6 foot tall. These things are big panels. They go all the way to the floor. Those kind of solar panels will really get you some energy. All right, man. Thanks. Peace. Right there. Hat, and then pan down with it as you go. Hat, t-shirt, shorts, and Reebok.
Come on, look over my shoulder. Why should I? You know I got a brother. Got my back from here to there. We never stop when you're here and stare. Look at the stars from up above. Man, why is this love? This love inside hurts so much. If I let it out, they just might touch deep in my soul and hurt me more. I just don't know if I should open that door. I send in time to my rhyme. I look up and down until I shine. I try to glow and I try to pray and do everything right every day. But I still can't be perfect. So what I'll do is just try to work with it. Work with it. Yeah, I'm working with it. I'm working with it. Yeah, I'm working with it. I'm working with it. Yeah, working with it. I'm working with it. Yeah, working with it. I'm working with it. Working with it. I'm working with it. If God will give me what I just asked for one time, then I gotta give it up and give it one rhyme back, cause that's the way it works. If you don't give it out, you don't receive it back, because man, I shout out the demon. Yeah, but it's inside of all of us. That's why we're cleaning our sins and cleaning our soul. Every day we try to get a little bit more, a little bit further, a little bit more love. I love you, baby. I love you. I love you. Hey, I love you, baby. I really do. I love you, baby. I've been trying to figure out how to tell you that too. Finally in love again. I love you. Sexy, sexy lady. I'm missing you. Sexy, sexy lady. One, two, three. Go. Ready? Here we go, guys. We just got done. Now we gotta load up the equipment. It's been a long day. Heading back to the house. You know what it is. So now we're at the car. So put everything in there. You guys are done doing your creative artwork for the day, right? Put that in. What are we gonna do next?
Drawing.
Practice a drum.